And otherwise, this shouldn't be anything we can't handle. I should also mention that that was my first time using Duel, and one thing I didn't realize is that it seemed to me like it completely pauses time when you're in there. You know, the Orc High Priest was right where we left them. Maybe that was just chance? Especially since I don't remember seeing everyone from this room. Maybe there's an entrance down here, which explains why we ran into specifically like this elf knight we fought down in this general vicinity. Does that make some amount of sense? But what do we wish to buy here? I guess we don't have a helmet. So that actually answers my question for me. Still mark the cloak as a good potential buy for us in the future. Let's put our hat on. And now we're gonna just really confuse the ever-living crap out of all of our new friends here. Look like a wizard. Sting like a hunter, baby. I think I might have even recently talked about this on a stream that is either on a stream or with some friends of mine, that I was talking about a D&D character I had the idea for relatively recently, which is just kind of following a general trend that I've noticed for myself as of late, is that I really like just rolling with fun little themes. And so what I came up with was the idea of a caster of sorts that completely presents as an archer. So it's kind of the most like pointless kind of role play one could probably imagine, but I liked the concept of it for whatever reason. It stuck with my brain, and that's essentially what we're doing here today. We're actually a wizard, but all of our spells present as if we're just shooting fancy types of arrows at our enemies. It's a look for sure. Okay, good. These books do not have access to us. That is fantastic. I was ready for Orc to throw yet another wrench in our direction, but fortunately, does not seem to be the case. At least not at this exact moment. Oh, and this area does not connect to the other. Now that is interesting. I definitely should have finessed. Could have killed that Eden in advance, but that's fine. These books don't have access to us. Did you mishear that? No, you did not. These sons of guns right here. Kept in captivity for our spectator safety. Because oh me oh my, that'd be a lot of smite. And I think this buddy might just petrify, which is, nah, that's fine. Yeah, 3 times 41%, just petrify on that son of a gun. It is a bookshop. Yeah, actually, speaking of the aforementioned flavor chunks, shops are a good example of that too. You definitely see a few of those. I think my favorite of the shops are the vendors that are like default extremely specific store or something like that, and they just have one item. It's between that or I like the, what are they? The like secondhand stores that you can find where it sells a bunch of like crappily enchanted gear. So you can get like -5 gold dragon scales super early on in the dungeon. I love that. Super fun little bit of flavor for sure. You know what? I'm gonna finesse in advance here. Okay, might have been slightly wasteful. I was expecting our high priest friend to be waiting us with bated breath, or awaiting us, should say. But that's fine, you know, to each their own. Some people can be wrong. Beautiful. Well, there we go. Able to kill off most of these sons of guns. Oh, Phantom Mirror. Can't actually buy, or use rather, so we will not buy that. Probably don't. I'm just gonna buy invisibility potion right off the rip here. Would have been embarrassing if I immediately found it for 10 times cheaper in the next shop, but fortunately, not making quite so much of a fool of ourselves, at least not in this very moment. The game yacked a good old flavor chunk at us, indeed. You wonder how many details like that you've just glossed over? Right, probably same on my end. I definitely play with blinders on the majority of the time, but that's a nice thing. Again, just when you do notice them, you'll put a bit of a hop in your step for sure. But okay, where the heck do we go from here? I guess back to regular dungeon is all right. Let's face it, the O key is the thing. Oh, especially when O and Tab get together, those two are just out of control for putting the blinders on, and you just ignore everything that's happening around you. I feel that for sure. Yeah, let's head out back to regular dungeon, and hopefully it'll be a relatively straightforward clear straight on till morning here. A wand of paralysis, I guess I will take. Do I have any trash I can drop? Tempting to drop, that is. No, I was gonna say no offense, but let's be real, slightly offense. Some slight amount of offense, I guess, is the correct way to phrase that. Not too shabby. Yes, stones, no thank you. We've outgrown the need for rock and stone, at least until we get back to working for the corporation. Ooh, ring with slain on it is actually very tempting. Don't really want to get rid of either my current rings, dexterity and AC, both kind of nice. You've never gone into the tab habit, you feel like you have some forgotten trauma over it. I think you're potentially better off for it then, because I get myself into whole heaps of trouble based on that little key for sure. The tab key and I have a give and take relationship, to say the least. Let's get some poison on you, my friend. Beautiful. And not too shabby. Yeah, we're just gonna leave that vault entrance kind of by the wayside for the moment here. Likely we'll be coming back for it at some point down the road, but we're not in a huge rush to do so by any means. And otherwise, we'll just keep blasting our way through here. Full glass cannon. Love to see it. You recall setting the tab threshold somehow to a higher number, but you don't even recall how to change that setting. So if you're playing online, it's the RC file. There's a line you can add to it that changes the threshold. In fact, it might be in the vanilla RC file, and you just have to change the percentage that triggers it. If you're playing offline, then it's an init file, but similar thing. In terms of the actual syntax of how to write those commands, I never really know them off the top of my head, but that one is relatively straightforward, I believe, and should be able to find references to it online for sure, because I think that changing the tab threshold to 75% is one of the most common pieces of advice that I've heard since I joined. And yeah, there's an RC init file local. Yeah, exactly. Just bump for attacks and you're all happy. Hey, I mean, if it works for you, then why even bother? It's just unnecessary risk if you are completely fine and dandy to keep doing it manually yourself. I find that I'm very slow with a lot of the manual movements. For whatever reason, my brain just shuts down when I need it most. So I'm always a little bit sluggish if I can't rely on the quality of life improvements that the game has to offer. But definitely consistent play, I think, very much would scream in favor of an old manual approach. Why do I do this to myself? Okay, 32 damage on you, my friend, is too much. Fear doesn't work on these sons of guns. Does paralysis work? 1% chance, so not likely. That's what it's looking like. Otherwise, oh right, we do have a vocable blink. That's high likelihood to fail though, right? Yeah, 28%. Makes sense. But, hop, skip, and a jump. Not going super well. That's fine. I don't know if we can teleport out of here, so I'm tempted to just treeify myself. That gives us 31 armor class. Mix that with a light sprinkling of finesse, and you've got yourself, hopefully, a few dead skeletons. Yeah, well, I'm going to play it safe. Additional heal wounds, probably not necessary, especially if I take no damage here. Then whoops. But hey, better safe than sorry. Especially since we did make it this far, and I had such bold claims early on about, hey, if my ranger just survives till mid to late game, then we're sitting pretty. So let's try to keep faithful to that promise. Hello, Rupert. 120 damage on you, hey kiddo? I mean, if I just finesse right away here. 24% chance of paralyze actually makes me think that's a never mind for me. Let's instead just hoppity hop hop. And we'll leave D15 for the future. Probably should drop an exclusion on that just so I don't come face to face with Rupert. First and foremost, upon entering the level, that seems reasonable. To prevent that is. And then otherwise, pretty much just ready to head to Snake. How are we doing for time here today? Definitely was planning to do a little bit of a shorter run at things this evening. But we can probably make do with another couple of floors. So let's head over that direction for now, shall we? Snake Pit, please and thank you. You play full keyboard with hands on home row, and that probably informs our different habits. For sure, yeah. In fact, how do I? I'm very, like, picky fingers when I play this game. Normally, I'm pretty home rowy for sure, especially like my typing. I'm pretty happy with my ability to type without looking. It helps a lot for work. Oh, but you move with the HJKL. That makes sense. How does... Oh, geez, that would require some... Like, left and right, that's cool. This would require me to rewrite my brain. I normally use the numpad. That's my my go-to for manual movement, generally. I think that's potentially why it feels slow to me, because I take my hands off of the main part of the keyboard and have to very much make a distinct choice to switch gears. So maybe that's part of it. Ooh, I'm very happy now that we got that Reflect Amulet with the resistance to electricity. That will come in handy very much so. In here, oh my gosh, a plus 11 Executioner's Axe. I mean, we are a two-handed ranged weapon user, so there's a less than 0 chance that we end up switching over to that at some point down the road. I also kind of forgot to set additional skills here, so let's get some dodging trained, let's get some Evo trained as well while we're at it here. Maybe even some info in the background. We'll kind of spread ourselves thin because I'm not too dead set on any individual ability. And this is where we're very, very fortunate to be just ever so slightly faster than our snake friends. Otherwise, this would have been gross. Let's see, 26 and additional 12, so chances are I don't die in one shot to you kiddos, but chances can be wrong. Okay, that was a waste of finesse. Where the... Excuse me? Where did you kids go? I feel like I just got ditched by all the cool teens. Okay, let's try this again. Just take care of you. Fantastic. And then I can kind of just rest up here. We'll take care of our last one in just a moment. JKL's arcane for sure. It's just deeply ingrained for you. Makes a lot of sense. In fact, I'm curious. It's been a while since I played Kerbal, but that's actually not that different from the Kerbal controls. So maybe... No, Kerbal does IJKL. It does like a reflection of WASDA. Now that I think about it. Could be misremembering too. For sure. With all of the above, really. Okay, let's go finesse here, because I think I need to get through these Sons of Guns quickly. At least, fortunately, I do have my hop available. So I can try to gain a little bit of ground on these Sons of Guns. That doesn't bode super well still. How does duel actually work? It has to be a worthy foe. I'm looking at these and I'm thinking, probably nah. But I will get surrounded again, because unfortunately Double Guardian Serpent means trouble. I mean, we don't have a lot of evocations training, but this seems like a half-decent opportunity to just start blasting. And in fact, just keep blasting. And so it was good. Sure, one more with Spirit. Beautiful. That does take care of all of our problems, actually, so that was fantastic. Okie dokie. Well, Snake as terrifying as always, of course, but we're at least finding a bit of a baseline. You know, we're using the litmus paper. We're finding out exactly how this area is configured and how we're feeling about it. ID scroll we can definitely use right away. Ooh, brand weapon. Do I like my triple crossbow being draining, or do I want to change that? Yikes. Well, what started as a relatively straightforward encounter is very quickly degrading into extreme nastiness. Oh gosh. Son of a gun causing problems. Actually, I'm not resistant to poison. Oh my gosh. How have I not been royally screwed this entire time? Oh me oh my. Maybe Snake isn't quite the dream scenario I was building it out to be. We do have scale mail of poison resistance. That's going to be far too heavy for me to use well. Welp. I almost hate that I noticed this. I could have lived on in blissful ignorance. Or I guess more likely notice at the worst possible moment that I'm royally screwed, but you know, the optimist in me says that I could have made it through the entirety of Snake without realizing I'd no poison resistance, and we would have been just fine. Ooh, a heavy longbow is interesting. The heavy brand has very much changed the paradigm of ranged weapons in my mind, because generally it very much boils down to Arbalist, slow. Bow, fast. Arbalist, strong. Bow, weak. Nice even trade-off. So when you get a heavy bow, what does it mean? How does that math end up working out here? In this weapon's minimum delay 1.0. Okay, 58 damage rating. What are we sitting at? 41. That's not including the freeze, which is like, what, 25%? So that actually goes up to just over 50. And for now, I'll stick with it, because I think the cold brand is, again, really nice for dealing with Snake. But it's interesting. Curious how the numbers crunch in that scenario. Let's find a slightly more welcoming stairwell. There we go. Fantastic. Love to see it. Should be careful with the sharpshooters, because they do travel in herds. Ooh, but Blink Scroll is fantastic. Definitely need all of those we can get here. In fact, bringing us up to 4 is wonderful. If I could kill this buddy before they surround us. And similarly, we'll use additional speed to just walk away from all of life's troubles here. Oh, we do have a hasted Naga now. So that throws a bit of a wrench in our direction, but potentially nothing we can't handle. Lots of poison spit coming my way. The game definitely heard me talking about my lack in certain defenses and decided to just run with it.